Hey everybody, welcome back. These people ruin their careers in 10 seconds or less.
Lost her job because she said the N-word.
Be careful out here. Don't trust people.
Who raised you?
Coworkers aren't friends. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Here's why you shouldn't become friends with your coworkers. I had a friend who worked with a team of 4 other people, and the 4 other people got laid off. So my friend texted the group chat and was like, hey, how are you guys doing? Here's some jobs. Let me know if you need anything. Now, over the course of this month, they're complaining about the bosses they didn't like, or just complaining about the organization and how they did things and the way that this layoff went down. My friend is participating in the conversation because she's also annoyed by how everything went down. Specifically, they all had this one boss who they just had a hard time with. My friend said that the boss was nice seemingly, but could be difficult to follow sometimes and seemed to lose her train of thought very often. And it was just very confusing to work for this woman. So one day, a month after the layoffs, that same boss starts acting really weird. So then my friend got called into a meeting with HR and that person's boss. So naturally she's like, oh my God, it's a second round of layoffs. I'm gonna be next. I'm going home. So she gets into this meeting and it's at 7:30 a.m. or a ridiculously early time. She gets into the meeting and then HR is like, hey, we got wind of a text message that you were on, and granted it was on your personal phone, but we got wind of this text message that you were on, and we want to know if you can explain what you were saying in these text messages. So HR begins to read line by line everything that my friend had been saying in these messages and asks her to explain each and everything. So remember my friend's boss, who everybody had trouble with, could be forgetful sometimes. So my friend said that she would often call her Dory in these text messages because she was so forgetful. So HR is like, so you called X, Y, and Z Dory. What did you mean by that? So of course my friend's wondering okay, who gave you guys these text messages? Because at this point it's one of the people. Just be careful out here. Don't trust people. Nothing's safe. Not even your personal phone.
Oh, period.
Excuse-moi.
Meanwhile, this person is trying to help all these people that got laid off and sending them job posts and making them feel validated. And then one of them goes and shares the conversation. It bothers me, but I can't say I'm surprised. Coworkers are not your friends. Bear in mind, yes, we all like to talk about our bosses in the workplace. It's one of the things that probably makes you guys bond, right? I know that I bonded with a lot of my coworkers because I hated where I worked, and it was just a way to kind of cope with it. Be very careful about what you put in writing, not only in personal text messages, but also on company computers. If you guys are using Slack or anything, and it's a company snack. Love company snacks. A company Slack, they be reading that shit. They be reading it. Careful. Careful now. Doesn't mean it doesn't suck, but holy moly. Hold up. One of the 4 people who were already fired, gone, not working there, snitched for what gain? Maybe they were jealous about the fact that, the worker that was still there still had a job. Didn't think that she deserved to have a job there because,
oh, look at her, she's talking all this shit where she works, blah, blah, blah.
I'm never explaining any conversation at work from my personal phone. That's a good point. A lot of people are saying, just don't address it. Wasn't me. That's not any of your business. HR here, be civil and respectful at the workplace, but remember, none of these people are your chosen friends or family. You're together by chance. That's what's up. Never make the mistake of thinking that these people are your friends, especially never talk about how much money you make. Because the minute that a coworker who is your friend finds out that you're making more money than them, watch the tables turn. Be cordial, be kind, kiki about little things, but be very, very, very careful. Coworkers have been the shadiest people in my life. Why do they have so much drama? Honestly, a lot of it is over salary differences. A lot of it really is. That's why so many workplaces have rules about the fact that you can't share how much money you make. It causes issues. I'm not saying all coworkers, but test your friendship. If you suddenly aren't working at the same place anymore, okay? If both of you kind of went on to greener pastures, one of you left or whatever, and your friendship isn't the same, you were never friends to begin with. Ooh, we got a part 2.
So during this meeting where HR is asking her to explain every text message that she sent in this group text, they ask her, are you aware of any sort of threat that one of the other people made against Dory's life? So my friend is like, what are you talking about? I have never heard of whatever it is that you're saying. But basically they're like, well, somebody said if I catch Dory outside, it's on. So they're asking my friend, like, who do you think would have said that? Who was the angriest one in the group text? So she's basically like, number one, I don't know what you're talking about. And number two, I'm not a snitch. So we can just dead this right here. So basically they're like, you should have known that people who are laid off would have been angry. And by you participating in the conversation and talking about Dory, you've essentially ratcheted up the heat and put Dory's life in danger.
Oh,
so
God.
my friend's like, weird take, but okay. And they're basically like, hey, so we're going to do some sort of corrective action. We can't control those other people, but we can do something about you. Mind you, my friend had an internal interview with another department. So by her getting a corrective action, it meant that she would not be able to transfer over to a different department. She would essentially be stuck where she is. And by the way, Dory, who she reports to, has also seen all of the messages that are about her. So the higher ups consider firing her. They end up just giving her like a final written warning. And of course, that precludes her from going to this other department. My friend ended up getting a new job. And it so happens that that same higher up that she was in that meeting with also got let go.
Goodness me. Like, now that I read more about this and like hear more about this, I really don't like that like your own personal private conversations are being blasted at the workplace. Like, I feel like that is a way bigger issue. That's like I understand it was a group chat, but you told somebody that in confidence. I don't like that your own personal like opinions and stuff are being shared at the workplace with the person that it's about. I'm confused as to how they think they can get someone in trouble for something they said on their off time in a private conversation. I agree. Like, it's one thing if it's said like on the company Slack or like the company computer, the company phone during office hours. Like, that is like you're literally stealing time from the company to talk about the company. Like, that is like insubordinate, and that makes sense. But like, I'm sorry, if you think that you're immune to office criticism as a boss, you're wrong. Everybody is about you behind your back. Everyone is about you. Honestly, to think that you're special and to think that nobody's gonna talk about you is wishful thinking. Why are we surprised? I think that that company should take those texts seriously. And if all of these people that formerly work there and one that does work there has these issues with the boss, they should probably look into that.
Oh, she said this, she said that.
Yeah, right. Everybody gossips, dude. That's literally what work is. That's what work is, to its detriment. A final warning about what? Texting? Yeah, let's not be controlling what people say and do when they're not at work, okay? I needed this because a coworker got fired and I want to reach out, but I know it would be a messy combo that could come back and bite me. Don't do it. Only for coworkers you trust, absolutely, and only in person. Like, literally, don't have anything in writing. Like, anything that you put in writing is sus. Anything you post on social media is sus, okay? Careful. Always keep in mind when you're writing something in a text message or you're writing an email, could this come back to bite me in the ass? Or will this help me by putting this in writing?
Recently interviewed the photographer behind the Balenciaga campaign that featured these bear bags. His story really highlights the serious risks that independent artists might take when they choose to collaborate with the fashion industry. Gabrielle Galimberti has been doing this series called Toy Stories, featuring children ages 3 to 6 with their toys. Started this project in 2009, and he's taken photos of kids all over the world. All the parents were there for the shoot, they signed releases, etc. In 2014, he turned the series into a book called Toy Stories. Late September of this year, he gets an email from someone at Balenciaga. The email basically said, "We are Balenciaga. I work closely with Demna, the designer for Balenciaga. We saw Toy Stories, we love it, and we want you to do the same thing for us." Gabrielle Galimberti had never done any work for the fashion industry. He's a photojournalist or a documentary photographer, meaning he doesn't usually do stylized photo shoots. This is the type of stuff he normally does. He had worked for publications like National Geographic. Balenciaga was offering him a lot of money. He said it was as much money as he would need to pay 18 months of his rent for his modest house in Milan, Italy. And as a 45-year-old photographer, it was hard to turn that down. Before he gets to Paris to take the pictures, Balenciaga has 6 or 7 people on an email chain with him going back and forth about what the campaign is going to look like, what objects are going to be in the campaigns. They picked the models. He was not really asked his opinion on the concept at all. They just asked him to weigh in on things like what color should the walls be. He told me, when I went to Paris, there were, I would say, 25 people on the set who worked for Balenciaga. Before they did photographs with the child models, they did test shots. He said there was a mannequin at the center of the photo while we were organizing the set with all the objects Balenciaga, was bringing into the room. And this part is really crucial and I think shows how much approval these fashion houses have over everything that goes on these campaigns. He said, I took some photos. The photos were going from my computer to someone else's computer, one of these Balenciaga workers. And they were sending the photos to someone else at the headquarters of Balenciaga. I don't know if it was Demna. And then we were waiting for 1 or 2 hours to get approval. And once we got approved, they said, okay, the picture is approved. Let's bring in the kids. Balenciaga had described the look of the campaign to him as punk. You know, he's a photojournalist. He's a documentary photographer. He doesn't work in fashion. He believed them that this was kind of a punk item. So when the campaign came out, backlash started. It was on Fox News. He started getting death threats, calls in the middle of the night to his cell phone, thousands of hateful messages. Rather than attempt to explain that this photographer was not responsible for the content of the shoot, Balenciaga replaced that campaign with a totally separate campaign that he had nothing to do with, that featured these papers, which were from a Supreme Court case about child. It took 10 days for Balenciaga to release a statement accepting all responsibility for the photo shoots. However, I think the really horrible thing about this is that this really nice series that this photographer was doing has kind of now been tainted by this whole ordeal. People are trying to destroy his entire career. Read the full interview at amyodell.substack.com.
Oh, dang. You know, it's always funny how quickly a brand can go from like on top to the clearance bin. And when I tell you that every time I walk past Balenciaga, I take a look inside and there is no one there. Not a single soul was found except the security manning the door. And like you look on Poshmark and it's all these like Balenciaga shoes and sweaters and stuff like. And it's a shame because like Cristobal Balenciaga, like the original Balenciaga designer, would be rolling in his grave if he found out what happened to his fashion house. Rolling in his grave. At its height, it was the epitome of class and innovation. It's sad. It's sad to see. I just don't really understand how they thought this was a good idea. Were there no focus groups on this? Like, I understand Balenciaga is like edgy and and they do like fashion shows in the mud, but like BDSM teddy bears, like come on now. The focus group would have been like,
you want to put this out there into the world?
Don't hate Balenciaga staff or photographer, hate the creative directors and management. Literally. Okay, so like any advertising shoot, anything associated with a brand, the people that create the content itself are being told what to do. Okay, they get final approval before anything goes out from the people that are in charge. Don't be going around and blaming the creatives. Because at the end of the day, most of the time, our creativity is stifled and we have to say and do certain things that, you know, we don't necessarily want to do, but we have to do it because it's on brand. Okay, don't be hating the creatives. Hate the brand, for sure. But like, that sucks. I'm sorry. That sucks for him. Such a shame that this series that he had is now tainted by Balenciaga. This man just wanted to pay his rent, literally. Literally. It is funny how Balenciaga was literally on the top. Like, it was the pinnacle of, like, cool and edgy, even though half of it looked like it came from a trash bin. It was at the pinnacle, you know, before this happened. I would argue this career was ruined in less than 10 seconds. Like years and decades of Cristobal's work all ruined because of this fucking photo shoot. Such a shame. It still exists. Like, don't get me wrong. There's still a massive store in Yorkville in Toronto, but it's always empty because like nobody wants to be caught dead shopping there right now. Oh man, it's a shame though. Oh, at its height, just like, oh, yummy fashion, yummy. So cool, so groundbreaking. Nothing like what it is today, honestly. Okay, allora. Moving on!
The most famous person on TikTok right now, well, for the wrong reasons, Her account is no longer visible to view on TikTok, and I can't find it anywhere. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if she deleted it herself, if they deleted her account. Don't know, but now she's going full force into this because she lost her job because she said the N-word in a video. She's pretending that losing her job and the consequences she's facing for her actions, for her saying the N-word, isn't really that big of a deal. Like, it's not really bothering her. And it really is, though. She is full-on angry. She's being really aggressive now in all of her videos since this incident and her losing her job. It's very clear that this is really bothering her, and she's pretending that it's not, because she's like, well, if I pretend, then I'll feel better about myself. But no, I mean, it really is bothering you that you lost your job over this.
No offense, but what did you think was going to happen? No, by no offense, I mean offense, okay? In this case, offense. I don't know why people say no offense. It's like, no, I mean to offend you. What did you think was going to happen? Why? Why do that? For what?
Places are not going to hire you, and I think she knows that. That's why she's trying to get into, I think, like podcasting or content creation or something full-time, because she has a lot of attention right now. But here's the truth. She's going to be forgotten in about a week or so, and people are going to move on to something else somebody does stupid or whatever, and people are going to forget her. So she's not going to be lasting around, and she's going to try. She's going to try to milk this whole entire controversy as much as she can, because it's not going to last, because as we know with the internet, especially TikTok and other platforms, that something happens, you move on to the next thing. You move on to what's going on next in the news. And eventually, people are going to forget that she even, like, the thing even happened, right? They're like, who?
Sorry. Oh, my eyelash is bothering me. My eyelash is bothering me. And so is this. Because, like, why the fuck would you do that? Why the fuck is that word even part of your vocabulary? Ugh, how to be stupid in 10 seconds or less, honestly. Like
that happened a month ago? Like, who were we talking about? Because we've already moved on to like 4 or 5 different things that have already happened that people just forget. It does happen. And unfortunately, in this situation, she's not going to be able to sustain this. At least I don't think she will, but we'll see what happens. But, yeah.
Thank you. Next. Dude, I didn't even remember who she was. I kind of honestly forgot until you just said something. As someone said in the comments, the internet is forever. Never forget that.
So I wanted to come on here and talk about something that is really starting to annoy me. So I applied for a job at TJ Maxx a few weeks ago, and they denied my application. They couldn't even call me. They just sent me some automated email. So I went in today and I was like, so what was the reason I didn't get hired? And she was like, oh, like, you just, like, don't have enough experience. There was candidates that had, like, more experience than you. And, you know, I asked her if it was about my tattoos, obviously, because I know a lot of places don't like tattoos. She said that wasn't the reason. I don't feel like that's true, but whatever, I'll leave it at that. So I'm just wondering how, like, teenagers and young adults who haven't had a job before, how are they supposed to get employed if these places are only hiring people with experience?
It's your tattoos, babe. Like, it is. I hate to say it. Like, I really don't like that people are discriminating her based on what she looks like. But at the end of the day, like, companies, especially if you're the face of a company, if you're working, like, you know, front of house, not all of them want to be associated with people who have tattoos like this. Like, they just don't. Man, like, I got sent to the back at Aritzia and I had black lipstick on. I could take that shit off. They were like, go steam some clothes in the back with your black lipstick. Fair. It's like, okay, well, not taking the lipstick off. So I can't, like, it's just, it's their brand, it's their prerogative, but I'm telling you, it's the tattoos. Okay, it is. They're cool. I also feel like you are sort of like maybe not reaching out to the right places to work. Like, I feel if you maybe wanted to work front of house at a tattoo shop, you know, you kind of got to pick places that would, like, not only allow this sort of thing, but maybe want to put you at the forefront. Like, they would, like, embolden you and, like, lift you up, you know? TJ Maxx is not the type of business I would think would be aligned with your tattoos. Like, I'm just saying.
So, like, they'll deny a 16-year-old a job because they don't have enough work experience? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I do okay with money as is, so I didn't like need the job, but I would have liked it to have made some extra money so I could pay off my debt quicker. And, you know, I hate that my tattoos are such a defining factor for me getting a job or not. Like, just because I have tattoos doesn't mean I'm not gonna be a good worker. Like,
Totally.
I do not understand that at all.
I agree with you. Just because you have tattoos, just because of how you look, that doesn't mean that you're stupid or you'd be bad at your job. But unfortunately, like, that's realistically what the world is like. Like, it just is. Certain brands don't want to align themselves with a certain image. That's just the fact of the matter. It really shouldn't be that way. And not all brands are like that. But I feel like you got to target maybe like a brand or a store, you know, that's like a little edgier, on the edgier side. Okay?
Because quite literally some of the most smart, intelligent people I've ever met are people with tattoos and piercings. I could be wrong, but I've seen that like in Europe, like people with tattoos and piercings can get jobs like way easier there. So why is America not hopped on the bandwagon? Another thing too is like all these places, they say that they're hiring, but I feel like they're not. Because I shop at all of these stores and I see hiring now signs, but those signs have been up for months, and I know plenty of people are looking for work. So how have they still not hired people?
You're right. Everybody's hiring, but then, you know, like everybody's desperate for people to work there, but then they tend to be picky about who they choose. I also would like to point out that you do have a Satan tattoo, my love. You do have a Satan tattoo, and it is cool. It is cool. But not everybody wants to be associated with that, especially in the States, bro. Like, it's a very religious country. I'm finding out the States is very religious. Am I the only one that feels this way? I'm not trying to hate on her. I'm just trying to say that, like, just to be frank. Just trying to be frank, not trying to offend. I feel like in certain situations, your tattoos would be uplifted.
You know?
TJ Maxx, not necessarily on brand for you either.
I just feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. It's so annoying. And for anyone that is looking for a job right now that is younger and doesn't have experience, I truly wish you the best of luck because it is very hard out here right now.
Okay, I'm really curious to see what everybody in the comments said. HR supervisor here, there's no way any company would put you in front of customers like TJ Maxx. You can be a bartender, tattoo artist, an extra in a prison movie, bassist for Motley Crue. Choices have consequences. Okay, yeah, it just sort of seems like everybody's kind of on the same page here. Tattooer here, it's probably the tattoos. If you have a passion for tattoos, maybe you need to look into that as a profession. Okay? But don't expect to be everybody's flavor, you know? Like, that's a choice. And it's cool. And it's badass. I like your tattoos. They're cool. They're brave. Not everybody wants their brand associated with that, and that's okay. There's a reason that tattoo artists refer to face tattoos as career enders. Honestly, the only people that I know that have face tattoos are like rappers and like rock stars, you know? Like, not personally, obviously. Rappers, rock stars. I've seen a comedian with a face tattoo. But like, they kind of like work for themselves, you know what I mean? They don't have to worry about someone else accepting them for what they look like. I'm a tattoo artist of 15 years. You have to have a set career path before you go big on face and throat tattoos, okay? Okay. Like, she's kind of referring to tattoos as like the be all end all, but she has her tattoos are tattooing, you know? They are tattoos.
Glad we are all in agreement.
Hi, good. I delivered food here yesterday from Chipotle, and you put down that I didn't deliver it to you because I just got fired from my job. Yeah, it was you. This is my only source of income. I do this all day. Now I'm fired from my job because you want your $10 burrito? No. Are you out of your mind? Who does this? Who does that? You got me fired. Like, I need the corporate number or something because I need to get your ass fired.
Period.
Does anyone have a corporate number? You have one?
I'll contact DoorDash.
food.
Yeah. All right, you want to say that you got your food?
I'll contact them, but
But what? Did you get your food or what?
how are you?
I even called my lawyer. He told me I can call the cops because it's theft. It's theft. Are you gonna say you got your food or not?
Ooh,
Or should I call the cops?
embarrassing.
Because you're stealing.
I'm not stealing.
Yeah, you are stealing.
I'm gonna need you to.
Yeah, who does that? Who raised your ass? Who raised you? Seriously. Fucking piece of trash. That's what you are. Trash. Are you the manager?
Can I help you?
Yeah,
the
I
manager's
delivered
coming out.
food here yesterday from Chipotle on DoorDash. I DoorDash all day. That's my main source of income. That's all I do. And this girl, I deliver it to her, and then she went on DoorDash and put down that I didn't deliver it here. So then this morning I wake up to go DoorDash, and I'm fired because of her. Because she said I didn't deliver it. I would
And
never
then she
do
was
that.
fired in 10
I
seconds or
had it
less.
right to her. That's the girl. Is there a corporate number I can call or something? Because you guys have thieves working
We give
here.
you a phone number here.
You have thieves working here.
This poor man. You can hear the hurt in his voice. That is so messed up. All because you wanted a free little DoorDash meal, eh? How are you not embarrassed? Good for you for going down there. Good for you. That is just horrible. I actually thought I had seen that before because this is not the first time I've seen a video like this. Please tell me that there are systems that keep this from happening because like this is really sad. I want to know what the outcome was. He replied to a comment on his YouTube channel that he did get his job back through DoorDash support. Yay! No update on how the doctor's office is handling it. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is hella embarrassing. I think for this very reason, Uber Eats introduced their PIN system. I mean, yeah, that's a good point, but also just to make sure they're giving it to the right person, I think. Because some people live in condos and they could just like take it from like,
Oh yeah, that's my food.
and just take it. You know, like, you gotta tell the delivery driver your PIN before they hand the food over to you. Poor dude, I hope things work out for him. Yeah, honestly, like, it's sad. I'm glad he got his job back though. I hope she's embarrassed. Because if you're not, how are you not embarrassed?
Subscribe!